Thank you very much, Professor Wan, Professor Chen, Professor Chia, and Judith, and all my friends from the different universities, and all my student friends as well. I'm not as tall because I'm not wearing high heels. So you have to look at me through the flowers, the beautiful flowers of Taiwan. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here and to be able to share with you some of my thoughts along the theme that has been the topic of discussion that has been set by the organizers. So I'm throwing to you a few ideas which are dear to me and which I confess I believe in, and perhaps you can draw something from it as something that will also be of inspiration to you. So I'm talking about creativity as a practice in today's lifestyle. And drawing from tradition is something special as well. And there are so many similarities between Taiwan and my home state of Sarawak on the island of Borneo, because we are both islanders. We both live in islands. You in a smaller island, but me in the island of Borneo, which is much bigger. And Sarawak is just part of that big island. But creativity, what is it? Is it something that you hold in your very hand? That you can create something special like a little eagle's head, just with your own little handmade fingers. And you know that even as children, we used to play with our hands and our fingers and create shadow puppets. Something which is so natural and something which can inspire the little kids, and they laugh and they talk about happy talk, happy talk. You know, there's a song that we used to sing from South Pacific, happy talk, happy talk. And this is a wood carving from the Iban people, one of our biggest indigenous group in Sarawak, the Iban. This wood carving, representing the hornbill. The hornbill is the biggest bird in the rainforest and is considered as the chief god of the Iban people, Singgalang Burung. So with that comparison, something that is very fundamentally yours with your fingers, and something that you create out of a piece of wood in the rainforest is what we're going to talk about. But I want to begin with one thing, which is very much faith. Acknowledging that there is a creator, we are his creation, and that is where all our creativity stems from. And I know that this is something which is probably in the minds of the professors here who are scientists and who believe that it comes from a big bang and not from an almighty being, God. I acknowledge myself. I am a born-again Christian, that God is the creator, I am his creation, and all my creativity comes from him. And this is a beautiful photo I took at the Grand Canyon in USA. And again, the other fact that I want to acknowledge is that we are equal partners, men and women. All right? Because there are so many women here. Yesterday, last night, as we were having discussions in Professor Wan's center, I took a photo, and surrounding me were all the roses. I was the only thorn. And these are the superpower women who is going to set up the exhibition at that new Future Past Lab at Taipei National University of the Arts. But what is wonderful, even as we read this verse from Proverbs, from chapter 31, okay, even if you change it to man, but then here it is talking about the woman who fears God is a creative woman, that an excellent wife who can find. She's far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She's like the sheep of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night. and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her arms, her hands to the poor, and reaches out her hands to the needy. I use this verse to describe the very Iban weavers that I've been working for and with over the past 20 years. This is what is a description of the woman weaver in the longhouse. She's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. So isn't this also a very fitting description for Mother's Day? All of us wouldn't be here if we were not born from a mother, correct? Don't tell me about test tube babies. Okay, let's move on about creative minds. Some thoughts that I have gathered. A creative mind has vision, imagination, creativity, and there is also innovation. What is inspiration? Inspiration like, can I paint the sky? It's a thought. But inspiration is another element that fosters a creative mind. It helps to start each day with an inspiring thought or little story left behind by the creative genius of the past. These parables and thoughts will uplift you and guide you through the day, keeping your mind in a lofty place. Right? We say that the soul, our soul, is lifted by noble reflections from minds and hearts that have soared beyond the norm. When your soul is uplifted, your ability to grasp and perceive in creative ways is greatly enhanced. Your desire to reach beyond your present boundaries is stimulated. This is the essence of a creative attitude, the desire to reach for new horizons. Many of us look to proverbs, look to sayings of the wise, of all who are before us or who are presently amongst us, as a source of inspiration from their thoughts, from their wisdom. And that we draw on as a foundation to build on. Look at this child. Sometimes say we have to come back to being like a child, with that childishness in order to see things in a different way. A creative mind needs the resiliency and flexibility that results from inspiration, that reminds us of the childlike attitude of exuberance and acceptance of life. This can be found in the expression of a happy toddler. If you have grown too old and too stubborn and too stiff a tree that it cannot bend anymore, then I'm sorry, your time is about to break. Your branches are breaking and the whole tree may even break. But if you are able to bend with the wind and to feel the fresh breeze, that your leaves may rustle and create new music, that is what we say, the beginnings of creativity. Start your day with this feeling, and everything that comes your way will be sweetened. Creative solutions will become obvious to even life's most difficult challenges. Yes, you may have disasters, but out of the ashes will arise if you have that fresh breeze blowing, and you can feel it, and you have that energy once again to rise up from the ashes, say, of an eruption, say, of an earthquake, of a tragedy. Now, this is not mine, but I'm just sharing with you what currently are going through the minds of thinkers and all the researchers, all right? We talk about the anatomy of a new creative mind. This is by David Amrona. Curiosity. The curious portion tends to ask why more than once. This part is willing to try and experience anything if it means gaining a better understanding of the problem. It thrives on observation and immersion. Okay, curiosity. Out of that curiosity, again, this is more the scientific aspect, if you like, the analytical. This part of the creative mind craves data, structure, and organization. The analytical portion dissects research input and looks for patterns that point to basic human needs and behaviors. Then there is the expressive. You need to be able to show, to tell, to sell your thoughts, your ideas, your story. The expressive side desires to tell stories and narratives in compelling fashion. This portion seeks to attract, engage, and captivate an audience. Then, this part I like. The sensual part. The sensual side seeks to satisfy all the senses. Aesthetics, beauty, and form are driving forces behind the sensual. And many of us involved in the arts, this is the one area which is so important to us. And how breakthroughs happen. Don't expect that things will always be something novel, something new, never been done before. In every creative act we look at, essentially it is doing new things with old things. It's not like the ideas come out of thin air. You may have the aquarium behind your throne in the bathroom, or you may create a little aquarium within an old light bulb. Creativity and the five senses. This is what I like to share very much with you, that sometimes we are only looking at things we look at. But beyond that, what are we creating? What are the creative things we can do that would fit into what we want to satisfy ourselves in? The five senses. What we look at, sight, what we hear, what we taste, what we touch, what we smell. To see beauty. Who has ever told you, oh, I just saw an ugly baby, right? Every baby is beautiful. Every baby is charming except when they cry and when they shit too much. But anyway, the cutest thing I think is to see a sleeping baby. Cute, cuddly, and innocent. This way we want to go back to be. Right? Then you have beautiful flowers with beautiful colors from flowers, beautiful costumes worn by beautiful girls, beautiful textiles. That's what I like. To hear beauty. I have not met any person who tells me that they don't like to hear birds. Have you? Then that it's his or her problem if they don't like to hear a bird sing. But I haven't come across such a person. But anyway, a symphony orchestra, the Vienna Boys Choir, these are just people who are talented and who give you that sense of beauty when they sing, when they play the musical instrument, when they perform together or singularly as a soloist. To taste beauty. It's beautiful. The lunch I had was a beautiful duck, a special duck from somewhere in some region. Ilan in Taiwan. We had this beautiful duck which was deboned for us over lunch. So it's beautiful. The taste of it, the way it was presented, and the beautiful company, of course. So to taste beauty, I was just in Zurich in Switzerland. My sister is married to a Swiss, has lived there for 40 over years. And one of the beautiful things about Switzerland is chocolate.
Yes.
How many of you girls don't like chocolate? Chocolates. And there is one particular shop in Zurich that I always will go because they have a beautiful window display of their chocolates. It's called Teuscher. Alright? One round chocolate like that is 80 Singapore dollars because inside is filled with champagne. It's a champagne truth. Alright? So it's a beautiful shop, beautiful taste. So that whole area of catering to your taste buds, the culinary art. I know there are a few chefs in this audience. I would point them out. But it is really an art, and it is becoming such a big creative industry. I know it because my sister who lives in Singapore is a foodie nation, we call it. You wouldn't go anywhere where they have so many magazines and articles in the newspapers that talk about food. Alright? Many of my brothers and sisters are foodies. When we are having lunch, they're thinking about dinner. Not only tonight, but tomorrow night. Oh, shall we go to this other store and taste the chili crabs and all that? And then they would drive all the way to look for food. But the whole thing about to taste beauty in food, in packaging, you may not be the one who is actually cooking, but you will be the one that will be able to present the food in a nice way, in creating all these carvings out of fruit, of vegetables, or to be designing the packaging for nice chocolates, for nice sweets. Judy just gave me some beautiful packaged chocolates from Santa Fe. So that is another whole great big industry. And the Japanese are very good at this, packaging for food. To smell beauty. Why do you think all those branded designer brands, they are parading their haute couture? Do you think that so many women will wear those outrageous costumes that are only on the catwalks of Paris and Milan, that nobody can fit into those designer dresses? But it is branding because those are the things that, jin sui ha. So that is the beginning of their sales pitch. The branding for Saint Laurent, YSL, for Chanel and all that. But what they will then be selling more will be the bottles of perfume. You can't wear the dress. I can wear Gucci, Chanel, Gucci Dior. Ayo, Jin Pang. Right? And then I know men hardly ever go out to buy eau de cologne for themselves, but it's the wives who are attracted and go and buy. Hey darling, happy Father's Day. Spray. 會噴到？係啊，會犀利都噴到好了啦。Doesn't matter whether I smell nice or not. As long as you smell me nice, it's good enough. That's the way it goes, right? And then when you pass a store that's selling famous Emmas at the airport, the smell of those chocolate chip cookies, you can tell from many yards away there's a famous Emma's there because the smell of the cookies flood the air. To feel beauty, this is another aspect of the creative industry that has become a rave throughout Asia. Spas and beauty care parlors, where the art of massage and body care has become such a big thing. In Thailand, I don't know, maybe in Taiwan too, you have all these foot massage parlors, But to feel beauty, this is something else which is soaring as an industry. So with those 5 senses, I just want to show and share with you some of the things which are now in the traditional in Sarawak, which are synonymous with what you have in the culture of Taiwan and from where we have gone. This is talking about the creative arts of Sarawak. I will run through them quickly. In wood carving, right? In basketry, fiber arts. This lady here is a nomadic lady, a nun. This is her pet dog. They go hunting in the forest. She makes these beautiful original knapsacks, if you like, the carry bags known as ajat baskets, which has drawstring. But these people are now being forced to settle down in villages, so their lifestyle is changed, and they can no longer be just foragers in the forest gathering ferns and roots to eat, but they have to plant something. And then when they are settled, the children have to go to school, and so they have to buy books and all that, and spend money to go down to the town, and they need cash, so they have to make crafts to sell. And we bring some of these bags to Santa Fe. All right. So this is traditional, enforced political change. They have to move with the new economy that the government sets out. They have to be moving together with the rest of the country into the new economy. And the new economy means they need money. No longer just living off the land. So, this other lady is making basketry, but with new designs, which I give to them. Because the new economy, the new demands from the new market, the new generation who lives in high-rise apartments and in the cities, they don't want the traditional basket. It has no place in their home, doesn't fit my color scheme, doesn't fit my lifestyle. Hiya! Too old-fashioned. So you need them also to move to new designs and innovative products that will sell to the new market. The same thing with, this is Nancy. She's the weaver who is in Hualien at the art house for this program. And this is her woven dream. Now I want to share this story because it is important. Nancy is now, let's say about 60 years old. She's a grandmother. She is, like me, we are Christians. But she believes in dreams, and she now, as a Christian, believes that the Holy Spirit and not the traditional weaving goddess that inspires her through dreams to give her images. Okay. She had this dream that she is told by the Holy Spirit, weave the pattern of a black dog. A black dog, or cow. Hey the cow. Okay. Okay, black dog. And she says, I've never designed on my textile a black dog in my life. I don't know how to do it. But the dream comes back, second time, third time, and so she says, I don't know how. In 1998, we were invited to the Museum of Ethnography in Sweden, in Gothenburg. When we arrived there, the first thing that greeted us was the director's black dog. And Nancy almost fainted and said, that's the dog in my dream. The dog, the black dog in my dream. Now it's confirmation. When I go back, I must try. I must make a design of the black dog. Yes. Okay. So when she came back, after 6 months, Next time, she showed me this. This is part of a bigger textile weaving. And these are 2 black dogs. Okay. Then I told her, hey, Nancy, don't fool me lah. You don't be naughty. You know? Not black dog, white dog. Nancy, oh, cow, cow. She said, yeah, you, don't you know? Look, she pulled my hair. You're black here, but white inside. So she said, look, you know, all this, the black hair, but inside white. So the body is white, but the hair is black. Okay, so this is her creative expression of that woven dream of a black dog. Okay, so we have other crafts like batik and songket, and this is another story I need to tell you because I work with another people group in the mountains, and these were traditionally hats, and the hats were painted. And then we did a revival of natural dyes with them and say, okay, dye your hats in the traditional way, but with natural dye, and then improve on the stitching because it's a double layer hat, palm leaf on inside and reeds outside, and then decorate them. And then I work with another group to produce the base out of bark cloth. So it's 2 communities to do one product. And assembled together becomes a hat box that got the UNESCO Award of Excellence. This again from traditional baskets now refashioned into beach bags and little basket bags for little Japanese girls who toddle away in the summer kimonos with a fiber baskets. Craft designers, that's the other thing which I know is also happening here in Taiwan. You are trained in design schools, but you don't have the skill to do the traditional technique. It takes too long to learn to weave that basket. But you are the designer. You are therefore the product designer. You collaborate together with the traditional artists to produce a product like a handbag. Okay, this lady, she's Muslim. She's now trained from the Institute of Craft in making new ceramics. I have a few artists to feature. One is an artist who has been to Santa Fe as well, talking about now the ear, music. This Matthew Ngao Jiao with his wooden lute, and he paints on bark cloth. Now these are sold as artwork, not just to decorate their jackets or to paint on the walls. Michael Lim, who is here in Hualien also, and he is using the technique of batik and use it as a technique for artwork. And here he is with his batik. This is another artist who is my cousin. He's using tree bark cloth as a canvas to paint. Not just the normal canvas, but bark cloth. All right, Bangi and Ball, we have the artists. Performing arts, when you hear music, this is happening. I know some of your indigenous Taiwan musicians who are moving into world music. And I bought some of their CDs as well, and you are using one of their CDs for my fashion show. Traditional dance. The danger, however, in bringing traditional folk dance to the international or even the contemporary stage, please respect the traditional dance moves and music. Otherwise, it becomes like Bollywood. It becomes vulgarized, and you lose the total essence of the tradition. Okay, pop music. I won't go into that. These are Malaysian pop musicians who are young and trendy, literary. I show you some photos of my gallery in Kuching. I use only natural dyes through publications to educate, to publicize about what it is that you have, a cultural asset, and how you can build on it. This is my home in Kuching. Creative lifestyle, ecological and environment concerns. I read this out to you. It is important. The common thread that links all of humanity must be the instinct for survival. But if we neglect to recognize, appreciate, and respect the very environment that we live in, we are digging our own graves. Ecology has no boundaries. Toxins don't stop for customs inspection, and microbes don't carry passports. So why pollute? Leave that thought with you. Recycle. This is made out of your water bottle and made into a nice creative container. You see, water bottle cut out, spray painted into a nice container which I put my toothbrush and toothpaste in. Recycle from old shower curtains. Plastic is the most difficult for the environment to degrade. So what do you do with them? Recycle. All right? Sorry. This is now talking about natural dyes. Natural dye fashion, something which is very much here in Taiwan, Penang. And Penang girls, but I'm creating only textiles for the Penang girls, out of Penang. Judy probably doesn't know. This is betel nut, Judy. Betel. Betel nut, it comes from a palm tree. And chewing these nuts actually gives you a high. Right? It's like smoking cigarettes. Many people believe that it keeps you awake and gets you still excited and keep you awake if you're a lorry driver late at night. And so they chew peanut. But out of this, you can also get beautiful colors. And the other last one which I'm showing you is out of these cake stems, which make these deep fried cakes, which we call kway chap. And then I stand them over indigo leaves to create patterns. This is one of my innovations. Thank you very much.